Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I'm back with a My Two Cent Nintendo/gaming video for the week of August. Oh, not August. Sorry, I meant November 20th to the 26th. Though, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hopefully, you had an enjoyable and safe Thanksgiving, whether it was with friends or family or anyway. And hopefully, you guys took advantage of Black Friday and was able to get what you wanted to get on Black Friday for, the upcoming holidays, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah, for that matter, although some of you might be waiting for Cyber Monday and all. But anyway, I do want to point out there won't be any video game or movie, TV show review for this week, though. Mostly it's because it's the holidays and so forth. So I'll probably do one next week, to be exact, though. But for this week, because of Thanksgiving and the holidays, I won't be doing one this week, though. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including the drama surrounding the whole Activision Microsoft deal that's been going on. Mr. Sakurai did a video about, in terms of difficulty, that brought up Icarus Uprising in a way that worded it almost kind of gives the impression it could be making its way to the Nintendo Switch. Hideki Kamiya and Platinum are already talking about a 4th entry into the Bayonetta series, and a statement made by Koei Tecmo regarding Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, which was later then they did a little follow-up or update to that story, though. If you're interested in where I got the source of these information, though, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My Two Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details. The first one has to do with the fact that Course 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course will be out next month, though. They had a trailer out for it, though. One of them showed was Peach's Garden, though. It's still pretty amazing that they're releasing DLC for a game that was basically at the time of the complete edition of Mario Kart 8 when they ported that over to the Nintendo Switch when it originally released back onto the Wii U. Obviously that means it's pretty much clear Mario Kart 9 is not happening anytime soon, which is a little bit unfortunate, though, because I really think it would have been nice to see a Mario Kart 9 for like the Nintendo Switch and all. Maybe we'll see one for either a Switch 2 or Switch Pro or whatever Nintendo's next system might be, though. We also learned that there is a Kickstarter project called Warside that is basically aiming for a 2023 Switch release, though. Based on what they showed so far, it looks like more like a throwback to the Advance Wars from the Game Boy Advance era, to be exact, though. We'll have to wait and see if this game comes out, though. We still don't know what's happening with Advance Wars 1-2 Reboot Camp, though. Originally it was supposed to come out this year, but because of the war in Ukraine between Ukraine and Russia, it got delayed, and who knows when that game's going to come out. Honestly, at this point, though, I think Nintendo should just release the game and all that stuff. I know some might still say this isn't a good time, but I think at this point, I believe personally they should basically release the game, though. We also hear a report that supposedly rumors are going around that Final Fantasy 16's release date will be announced at the Game Awards in December. Now, obviously, this isn't official or anything like that, so a grain of salt should be taken. That said, we have heard comments from Square Enix of saying that they would announce, I think, a release date before the end of this year, so I wouldn't completely rule out the possibility that a release date for Final Fantasy 16 could happen at the Game Awards, just like I won't rule out the possibility that another trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie may be shown at the Game Awards as well. But we'll have to wait and see where this all plays out. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, so time will ultimately tell, but hopefully we get a release date soon, though. We also learned that Phil Spencer has set up a Mastodon, if I'm saying the name correctly, account just in case. This is due in response to what's been going on with Twitter lately, particularly some of the decisions Elon Musk has been making in regards to Twitter, as there's concern about trolls, harassment, fake accounts, as we heard about what happened with Nintendo, where someone basically put up a fake Nintendo account which had Mario flipping the bird, which though funny, I will admit, though, I can see why some people were not, why some folks are kind of concerned about it, though. So, but what we've been told, what we've been hearing is that they don't plan to leave Twitter anytime soon, though. So, and I don't completely disagree with that. At the same time, I can see why they want to set it up just in case. Right now, it's up in the air at this point of what Elon Musk is going to do with Twitter, though. Personally, I have no desire to leave Twitter at this moment, though. But I will say, and though some may disagree with me, I don't have a lot of faith in Elon Musk making Twitter better. Based on what he's been doing so far, I feel like he's more like creating shock value and trolling rather than doing anything to actually fix Twitter. But time will ultimately tell whether that happens or not, so we'll have to wait and see. We also learned that the report seems to be coming out that Grasshopper Manufacturer could be working on a Aliens franchise. Now, there's no official confirmation whether or not that's the case, and it's unclear if Sega has any involvement with this Alien games or not. The last game from Sega was Aliens Isolation, which definitely got a better response and supposedly a better response than what we saw with Colonial Marines and the debacle between Sega and Gearbox, though. But still, there were reports that the game did not sell as well as Sega had wanted, though, so it's unclear whether they have any involvement if not. And the fact that Grasshopper Manufacturer is working on it, the same team that's known for games like No More Heroes, kind of interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see, assuming this is true, what kind of Aliens game will they make it to be? Will it be a third-person shooter? Will it be closer to Aliens Isolation, which is more like a stealth/survivor horror to some extent? So I'm kind of curious to see what kind of alien game they would be willing to work on. We have heard stories about Grasshopper Manufacturer interested in doing, say, a Deadpool game. That too also would be kind of interesting, though. We also saw another trailer that came out for Fire Emblem Engage. This one has to do with the emblems, or basically the rings that you put on your character, and what kind of buffs and what abilities that they will offer to you and all. I'm always still looking forward to this game when it comes out on January 20th, so it is definitely on my radar and all. And in the movie/TV side of the Quick My 2 Cent, though, we do have a report that apparently Disney's former CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, is now returning to be CEO again, though. Apparently the other person stepped down, and Bob Iger is taking the reign again, though. It will be interesting to see what he does this time around compared to where Disney is, compared to where Disney was before he took over. Now it'll be interesting to see what he does given where Disney is right now and all. So I'm kind of curious to see where this is heading. We also unfortunately heard that one of the actor Jason David Frank, who played the Green Power Ranger and also the White Power Ranger from the Power Rangers TV show, has passed away. Several articles point out that he passed away at the age of 49, though. It was reported by both TMZ via Gizmo, though. I don't know the whole cause of death. There's been some reports that was supposedly by suicide, though, which if that's true, that's very unfortunate, though. I wasn't the biggest Power Rangers fan or anything like that. I remember watching it as a kid and all back when I came home from like maybe elementary school or anything like that, but I wasn't the hugest Power Ranger fan out there, though. Still, nevertheless, though, it is very sad and unfortunate to hear about his passing, though, and my heart goes out to his friends and families and co-workers who used to work with him, though, whether it was during the original Power Rangers to some of the current Power Rangers that are out there right now. So sadly enough, Jason David Frank has passed away at the age of 49. And last but not least, a new trailer for Avatar: Way of the Waters has basically now out, though. I'm still looking forward to seeing this movie when it comes out December 16th. It's definitely on my radar, though. I would say I'm kind of curious to see how the sequel is going to play out, though. As far as the music for the trailer, it's good, but not as good as the music from the teaser trailer that was released, though. So, but either way, this is a movie I am looking forward to when it's out on December 16th, though. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Koei Tecmo and recent comments they made, along with an update that was given in regards of two of their franchises, though, Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden. Now, when most people think of Koei Tecmo, some of the names that tend to pop up the most are usually basically the Warrior franchise that Koei Tecmo is known for, along with developer Omega Force though. But they've also been known lately for a lot of their games, other games such as the Neo series that Team Ninja has worked on, along with their upcoming release of Wulong Fallen Dynasty and Rise of the Ronin, if I'm saying the name correctly though, the PS5 exclusive though. But they've also been known for two of their other franchises and some other ones as well, mostly the Dead or Alive series, the fighting game, to be exact, and the Ninja Gaiden series, though. Most people may remember Ninja Gaiden back during the NES era, but the series also saw a revival on the original Xbox, though, and then later would follow up with games like Ninja Gaiden Stigma that would be sort of more like an enhanced version of the original Ninja Gaiden game on the Xbox. This was the same thing with Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2. Ninja Gaiden 3 has considered to be very controversial, though. There are those who aren't really a big fan of it, though, and while Razor's Edge definitely got a better response, though, it still never reached the level as the first Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden 2, to be exact, though. Well, recently, though, there was a report that came out earlier this week, along with an update that was at the time pointing to the indication that Koei Tecmo was considering rebooting Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, though. In two articles, both of them from Video Game Chronicles. This one reported on November 20th. It reads that, quote, Team Ninja has reportedly confirmed plans to reboot both Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive in the future. That's according to a translation of a the developer's president head in South Korea this week. According to RULIWB, this person said during the panel that the G-Star conference in BUSAN that he's working to bring fans more news as soon as possible. A slide reportedly showed at the end of the panel, they have a picture though, shows images of both classic Team Ninja series along with the headline, The Future of Team Ninja Reboot of Popular Series in Japan. VGC has contacted Team Ninja's owner Koei Tecmo for comments on this story. This person has stated publicly the desire to revive the Ninja Gaiden series multiple times. The Tecmo Action Adventure series hasn't seen a mainline installment since 2012's Ninja Gaiden 3. The person who is also director of the Null and the sequel was a level design for Ninja Gaiden 2 and directed the series' third installment, though. It's first since the departure of lead creator Ichikara, if I'm saying the name correctly. Now, in a follow-up, though, in an update to the story on November 22nd, Team Ninja had basically clarified in terms of the whole situation on the reboot. According to the article from VGC, it's saying that, quote, the statement followed a report from a Korean press this weekend that the studio mentioned both games during its G-Star 2022 presentation along a slide feature headline reboot of popular series, though. According to Korean site Invent, studio head Yukisada, again, apologize if I'm not saying it correctly, reportedly said that the studio was considering reviving both Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive during the G-Star panel, though. However, elaborating on the comments in English, Team Ninja told VGC it has no specific details or information to share on its future plans for the series, though. Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden are both long-standing pillar franchise for Team Ninja. These elaborate titles are synonymous with our studio's history and reputation, creative director Tom Lee told VGC. It goes without saying that when speaking about the development of our past and future projects, both of these important titles cannot be left without mention. However, there are no details or information to share on either of these franchises at this present time. Like many of our dedicated fans, we share the enthusiasm for the returns of these beloved titles, and will be sure to provide a proper update, if any, when the day arrives. So it doesn't sound like, don't expect to see a reboot or another entry of Dead or Alive or Ninja Gaiden anytime soon, which, while it is somewhat unfortunate, because I would have liked to see that happen, though, I'm sort of mixed if they want to do a reboot of Ninja Gaiden or Dead or Alive. And some of this has to do with following the reception that the Saints Row reboot got, and how that didn't exactly sit very well with a lot of folks, though. So I'm kind of mixed on the idea of them rebooting Dead or Alive or Ninja Gaiden. But I would definitely be down if they did another entry or not, though. It will be kind of curious to see what direction they will go with these two franchises, though. I mean, for Ninja Gaiden, considering the work that Team Ninja has done with the Neo and the upcoming Wulong Fallen Dynasty, I am kind of curious if they would take a Neo route or do something completely different, though. As for Dead or Alive, it'll be very interesting to see if they've learned any lessons from Dead or Alive 6, considering not everyone was a fan of some of the, microtransactions, from what I've been hearing, though. What I've been hearing about that was in Dead or Alive 6 that not everybody was a fan of. So time will ultimately tell if basically we get this reboot or anything like that. But, I mean, I wouldn't be against it if they do another entry. One other thing, if they ever do decide to reboot another entry to a series or anything like that, there's three that I could think of that I think should deserve another shot. One is Rygar. I think that one deserves another shot, though. Have Team Ninja maybe try to do a Rygar game or anything like that. 2 would be the Crimson Sea series. The last entry was Crimson Sea 2 on the PlayStation 2. I wouldn't mind seeing that series make a comeback. And 3 would be, why not give Winback another shot, though? I think why not modernize that title? I mean, that title I think could see a remake happen if it's done correctly, though. But either way, time will tell if this happens, though. So overall, it is unfortunately that we're not going to hear anything about Dead or Alive or Ninja Gaiden yet at this time, and all that. But it's nice to hear that they are still know that these are important franchises, though, and hopefully we'll hear about another entry in Ninja Gaiden or Dead or Alive soon. I hope that does happen soon, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with Platinum and Hideki Kamiya mentioning that sounds like that Bayonetta 4 is probably going to be happening, which is kind of surprising that it's that quick, though. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, I'm going to be taking a look at an interesting announcement for Bayonetta 4, which is kind of interesting that this was announced basically since the release of Bayonetta 3 recently came out, though, which I've been playing the game for a bit, though, and I've been enjoying the game so far, just like I enjoyed the first and second one. It's basically a game for those who are into the whole, who enjoy games like Devil May Cry and all that stuff. So to hear this announcement is kind of interesting, and to hear the reason for this announcement is also kind of interesting to a certain degree. Now, from an article from GameSpot, it reads that, quote though, Bayonetta 3, let me just scoot this a little bit over right here. Okay, there we go. Bayonetta 3 has only been out for a few weeks, but series creator Hideki Kamiya has already confirmed that Bayonetta 4 is in development. He also said that the game's ending wasn't conveyed correctly, and that Bayonetta 4 will be an unexpected development per Gamer, though. Though Bayonetta 3 enjoys significant critical acclaim, fans have expressed displeasure over the game's ending, which makes certain decisions about Bayonetta's future or romantic life that prove unpopular with the general player base. Its technical performance on the ancient Switch, however, has also been a subject to criticisms. I would say yes and no on that, though. I mean, to me, it plays fine on the Switch, though, but I won't deny that there are certain limitations here and there. Anyway, continuing on, though, while it's difficult to get into the ending's apparent problems without revealing major spoilers for Bayonetta 3, GameSpot editor Jessica Howard explores the game's theme in a recent featured article, though. I read the article, though. It's a very good point, though, what this person brought up, though. If you're curious about the article, though, the link will be in the description, though. As a whole, it's fair to say the announcement of Bayonetta 4 isn't exactly surprising, given how popular the previous game in this series has been. However, the fact that Chimera is announcing the move less than a month after Bayonetta 3's launch is definitely a bit unorthodox. Either way, judging from Platinum's recent output, we shouldn't expect to play the game anytime soon. Now, I will admit it is kind of a little bit surprising for them to announce Bayonetta 4 that soon and all that stuff, though. But at the same time, I certainly am open to see more of entries into the Bayonetta series, though. I have enjoyed the game, so excuse me, up to this point, though, and I do hope that Nintendo is willing to fund the Bayonetta 4, though. I hope that's the case, though, because I would be open to the idea of seeing Bayonetta 4 on the, successor to the Nintendo Switch, whether it's a brand new concept or a Switch 2 or Switch Pro or whatever Nintendo decides to put out, though, because I would definitely like to see the game. As for the ending, though, I haven't seen the ending yet, unless you decide to type it in on YouTube or something like that. But I have read snippets of what the ending is or anything like that. I won't say what the ending is. You could look it up yourself if you want to. But based on what I've read and based on the fan base reaction, though, I'm not bothered by this as much or anything like that, though. I mean, don't have a big deal about, Bayonetta's sexuality or anything like that. I mean, you can interpret it however you want to interpret it, though. I just feel that people's reaction to the so-called to the ending and how it was done, I feel sometimes, not all the time, but I feel sometimes the fan base goes maybe just a wee bit overboard at times because it does not fit what they thought the character was going to be or not, though. So, I mean, but I'm just not bothered by it or take it as a huge deal. I'm just playing the game for what it is, though, an over-the-top Platinum's games, over-the-top, action game, or, their take on, their own take on Devil May Cry in general, though. So to me, I'm not bothered by what I've read about the ending, though. I haven't seen the ending yet. I still have to play I'm still playing more of the game, though. Hopefully I'll see more of it and maybe draw my own conclusion and all, but I will say I'm not as bothered by the ending as some on the internet have decided to portray it, though. But in either way, the announcement that, or at least what Hideki Kamiya is saying of a Bayonetta 4, I mean, again, I welcome it. I enjoy the Bayonetta series, though. I will admit it's a little bit unorthodox to announce it this soon, though. But hey, hopefully development of Bayonetta 4 is handled maybe a bit better than what we saw with Bayonetta 3, where there were reports of reboots to cancellations to all that stuff. Hopefully it is done better this time around. And hopefully we don't have to wait long for Bayonetta 4, although, I mean, we had to wait until when they announced it back in 2017, 2018, 2019, 20. We had to wait 5 years for Bayonetta 3 to come out, though. Hopefully we don't have to wait that long, but who knows, though. So overall, yeah, it's a little bit unorthodox about announcing Bayonetta 4 this soon, though. But still, as a fan of the series, though, I'm glad that they announced it, though, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to develop the game, though. As far as the ending goes, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, but based on what I've read, I just don't think it's as big of a deal as some in the fan base have made it claim that it is. But again, that is my take and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with Sakurai, who was doing one of his YouTube videos and sort of hinted about the possibility of, or at least how he worded it in a way, of Kid Icarus Uprising could be making its way to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my Two Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Kid Icarus Uprising and an interesting comment Mr. Sakurai has made that kind of caught some people's attention. Now, for those who most remember back during the 3DS era, though, one of the games that was announced at the time was basically the game Kid Icarus Uprising, supposedly the third entry from the Kid Icarus series that originally appeared back on the NES and the original Game Boy. This game was basically both fun but kind of difficult to play, mostly because of the way the 3DS was set up. I mean, if you try playing the game with the stylus and everything like that, it works, but sometimes your hand could get a little cramped every now and then, which is why they had a stand and everything like that. And even though the 3DS got an update to the new 3DX, which added like a analog to control the camera and all, the game never really got an update at all. And from that point on, the game pretty much remained on the 3DS, as there was really no other way, not counting emulations or anything like that, to basically see it come to the Nintendo Switch. Well, we have heard earlier this year that a leaker by the name of Zippo, who does have a good history of leaking some stuff here and there, reported on the possibility that Kid Icarus could be coming its way to the Nintendo Switch, with basically Bandai Namco being the ones handling the development, though. It wouldn't be entirely surprising if that rumor is true, as Bandai Namco has worked with Nintendo in the past. They handled the port, handled Mario Kart 8 to the Super Smash Bros. Series. Well, recently a video popped up with Mr. Sakurai, who does his videos talking about game development, and his comments caught some people's attention in regards of Kid Icarus Uprising. In an article from GameSpot, it reports that, quote, budding YouTube star and occasional game developer Masahiro Sakurai has posted another inside video to his channel, which focused on the difficulty system in 2012's Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS, but not without throwing a potential hint regarding the game's future at the end. After explaining his thought process behind Uprising's difficult feature, which was called the Fiend's Cauldron, hence the name of the video, Sakurai signed off with the following. I'm sure it would be nice to play Kid Icarus Uprising on a home console. I wonder if someone will ever port it, though. This is not the first time a port to the 3DS exclusive Uprising has been mentioned, as back in July, a prominent online source of Nintendo-related leaks named Zippo claimed that a Nintendo Switch remaster was in development at Bandai Namco, and it will feature a more accessible control screen as well as a much-needed boost to the graphics. Now, there are several ways you could look at Mr. Sakurai's comment, though. Some folks may look at this as this is sort of his way of teasing or trolling folks, to be exact, and he wouldn't be the only developer to do that. Hideki Kamiya is well known for teasing and trolling people, especially on Twitter. Not to mention he's known for blocking a lot of people, let's point that out. But at the same time, it could be him teasing, saying that, yeah, Kid Icarus Uprising is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, we don't know, we haven't heard an official confirmation or anything like that. I mean, and we also know that Nintendo has a history of keeping a lot of things to their chest. They are known to sit on a lot of games that are finished with development and anything like that. So there's that possibility that Kid Icarus Uprising could be done, ready to go, just waiting for Nintendo to basically announce it, though. Maybe they're considering announcing it at the Video Game Awards. I mean, that's a possibility, although I think that's somewhat of a stretch. I think most likely, if Nintendo is going to announce Kid Icarus Uprising for the Nintendo Switch, it would be in an upcoming Nintendo Direct. Maybe one in, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe in January or February to sort of get, to show what's going to be shown in the first half of the month. They might save it for like a E3 presentation. So there's so many ways they could approach it, though. And honestly, I would love to see Kid Icarus Uprising come to the Nintendo Switch. I think there are a lot of games on the 3DS I think that would definitely be great to bring over to the Switch. Some of the Fire Emblem games I think would be great to bring over to the Switch as well. But Kid Icarus Uprising, given the learning curve and given how, in terms of the stylus approach, I think this would be a great idea, especially with the Switch Pro controller or the Switch Joy-Cons in a way. I think there are ways where you can use the traditional controller or even the motion controls, in terms of point and aim and all, if done correctly, to be exact. So I think there's a lot of potential for Kid Icarus Uprising to do very well on the Nintendo Switch. But again, like anything, this is a rumor, so a grain of salt should still be taken no matter how you look at it, though. But it wouldn't surprise me if this turns out to be true, to be exact, though. If it is true, though, most likely they'll probably make some kind of announcement sometime next year. But again, I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is official or concrete or anything like that. So overall, though, it's a very interesting tease that Mr. Sakurai does, though. And while there's no official confirmation that the game exists, and it could just be him teasing or trolling us, though, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that this could be true and all. We'll just have to wait to see if an official confirmation happens. But I will say, based on the body language Mr. Sakurai put out and the way he worded it in terms of, I hope someone actually develops it, though, especially considering the fact that he made comments a couple of years ago how it would be difficult to bring it to the Switch, though. To me, this feels more like this is a case of where there's smoke, there's fire. To me, there's certainly smoke coming from this, though. But assuming where the fire is, though, that, however, remains to be seen, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and this one has to do with Activision and Microsoft and some of the drama that's been going around lately in terms of Microsoft trying to close this deal. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be talking about Activision and Microsoft and apparently some of the drama that we're seeing in regards of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Now, ever since this was announced that Microsoft was going to buy Activision Blizzard, there were questions about this deal in terms of the issue of monopoly and all that stuff. And we have seen Sony has tried to throw as much roadblocks as possible to try to block this deal as much as they possibly can. They have put out some information that has come out saying that they are losing, PlayStation Plus is losing the Xbox Game Pass, though, to Microsoft admitting that their games are worse than Sony's and all, to basically responding that they will fight the FTC, which I will get to it, though. But we have seen lately some latest moves is not only from the FTC, but Sony worried about Microsoft turning Sony into Nintendo, and what I consider a very piss poor argument to make, though. The first one, in regards of Microsoft wanting to turn Sony into Nintendo, basically this article from Push Pure Xbox, it reads that, quote, Sony's mentioned in its observation that Microsoft has pointed out how Nintendo's ongoing success hasn't relied on Call of Duty whatsoever, and with Sony arguing that this misses the point. Explaining how Nintendo has traditionally focused on family-friendly games that are very different from the PEGI 18 FPS shooters like Call of Duty. This, according to Sony, reveals Microsoft's true strategy, though. Microsoft claims that Nintendo's different model demonstrates that PlayStation doesn't need Call of Duty to compete effectively, but this reveals Microsoft's true strategy. Microsoft wants PlayStation to be like Nintendo, so it will be less close and effective competitor to Xbox. Post-transaction, Xbox will become the one-stop shop for all best-selling games, best-selling first-person shooters franchise on the console: Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War, Doom, Overwatch. As the decision explains, and it wouldn't be the free-form series competitor pressure, though. Meanwhile, over on an article on Politico, it reads that the feds are likely to challenge Microsoft's $69 billion Activision takeover. According to the article, it reads that, quote, the Federal Trade Commission is likely to file an antitrust lawsuit to block Microsoft's $69 billion takeover of video game giant Activision Blizzard, makers of the hit games Call of Duty and Candy Crush, according to 3 people with knowledge of the matter. A lawsuit would be the biggest FTC move yet under Chair Lena Khan to rein in the power of the world's largest tech company. It will also be a major black mark for Microsoft, which has positioned itself as a white knight of sort on antitrust issues in the tech sector after going through its own grueling regulatory antitrust battles around the world more than 2 decades ago. A lawsuit challenging the deal is not guaranteed, and the FTC's 4 commissioners have yet to vote out a complaint or meet with lawyers for the companies, 2 of the people said. However, the FTC staff reviewing the deal are skeptical of the company's argument, those people said. The investigation remains ongoing, but much of the heavy lifting is completed, including deposition of Microsoft chief executive and Activision's head, Bobby Kotick. The people with knowledge of the investigation said, if the agency does move ahead with the case, it could come as soon as next month, said the people, all who were granted anonymity to discuss a confidential matter though. Center to the FTC's concern is whether acquiring Activision would give Microsoft an unfair boost in the video game market. Microsoft's Xbox is number 3 in the industry, leading Sony Interactive Entertainment and its PlayStation console. Sony, however, has emerged as a deal primary opponent, telling FTC and regulators in other countries that if Microsoft made hit games like Call of Duty exclusive to the platform, Sony would be significantly disadvantaged. The FTC declined to comment. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether this FTC will succeed or not. There have been cases where they have succeeded, but there have been cases where they have not, though. For me, honestly, I would look at this deal from three different parts. So, 1, obviously the monopoly issue, but also 2, how do the employees feel about this deal, whether they are on board with it or not? And of course, how do consumers feel about this deal in general? So, it will be very interesting to see what the FTC does, though. Again, I'm not against them looking at this deal or anything like that, but it'll be very interesting to see whether or not this lawsuit bears fruit or not. As for Sony's argument, though, I'm sorry, I just don't buy Sony's argument one single bit for several reasons, though, including the CM's decision. 1, Nintendo may be known for putting out games that are often family-friendly, though, but they are also known for putting out M-rated games. Maybe not M-rated like Call of Duty in general, but games like Persona 4 or like Persona 5 or Shin Megami Tensei 5 and all that stuff, to even several other titles as well that are M-rated, though. May not be the M-rated like Call of Duty, but they're still M-rated and for older audiences, though. Bayonetta 3 is another good example of that, to be exact, though. Hell, even the Switch has Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on its system, though. And to me, the other problem is, and I've said this before, though, is that Nintendo has shown that it is possible to succeed without having something like Call of Duty on their system. Now, that's not to say that I am against Call of Duty being on the Nintendo Switch or not. If what Microsoft has said in the past is true and they want to bring Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch, I certainly wouldn't be against it, though. It's kind of a similar view I have with games like Fortnite, to be exact, and Minecraft as well. I'm not a big Fortnite or Minecraft fan. I never really got into those games or anything like that, but I'm not against those games being on the Nintendo Switch, provided that there is an audience that is there. So if Microsoft wants to bring Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch, I'm not against that though. But even if they choose not to, Nintendo has shown that it is possible to survive in this gaming market, even if you don't have something like Call of Duty on their system. So it's just a weak argument on Sony's side, and I think Sony should do a better job coming up with franchises like, say, bringing back SOCOM Navy SEAL or Killzone or Resistance, for that matter. To me, Sony's argument feels like the system can only exist with having Call of Duty. Without Call of Duty, without Call of Duty, they can't exist. Also, as much as I like the PlayStation 5, I don't agree with some of Jim Ryan's comments, including about exclusivity though, considering that he is paid to keep some games like Final Fantasy VII Remake and the upcoming Final Fantasy 16 from appearing on other platforms. I mean, I'm not a fan of that kind of exclusive. Compare that to, say, what Bayonetta 2 was, where basically Nintendo was like, we'll fully fund this as long as you're willing to make this exclusive to our system. Those kind of exclusives I can agree with, not the approach that Sony is making. So I just don't buy Jim Ryan's argument on this one single bit. Yes, I am still somewhat mixed about the idea of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. Yes, I do think it does bring up a lot of monopoly issues that still need to be addressed though. But I think Jim Ryan's argument is just terrible. I'm not buying Sony's argument. So overall, it's going to be really interesting to see what emerges from this with the FTC suing to block this deal, though. It'll be interesting to see what Microsoft and Activision does, though, to be exact. As far as Sony's argument, though, again, I really think it's a piss poor argument to make you claim that Microsoft wants you to be like Nintendo, considering how successful Nintendo is right now thanks to the success of the Switch and all. So to me, it's a very, very weak argument. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about, Koei Tecmo in terms of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive? Do you think those series should get a reboot? Do you think that there should be another entries into those games? And do you think Koei Tecmo should dig deeper and bring back, say, games like, say, the ones I mentioned, like Winback, Ryguard, Crimson Sea, for that matter? What are your thoughts about Hideki Kamiya tweeting about Bayonetta 4? Do you think it's too soon to talk about Bayonetta 4 at this time? Do you think it's the right time for him to bring it up, or do you think it's way too early? And do you think the fandom or the fan base is correct to criticize in terms of the ending of Bayonetta 3, or do you think they are blowing it way out of proportion? What are your thoughts about Mr. Sakurai and his sort of interesting comments he made in regards of Icarus Uprising appearing on the Switch? Do you think this is a sign that Icarus Uprising is coming to the Nintendo Switch, or do you think this is just him trolling us? And what do you think about the Activision and Microsoft deal? Do you think Sony has made a weak argument in terms of their claim of Microsoft wants Sony to be like Nintendo? Do you think the FTC is going a little bit overboard with this lawsuit, or do you think this is not uncommon for the FTC to do? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.